White Sox baseball on CSN Chicago is presented by State Farm. An absolutely gorgeous day in Chicago. Sox are trying to make it 5 in a row in the win column. It would be back-to-back wins against Kansas City out of the AL Central. Thanks for joining us once again. Jason Benetti, Steve Stone along with you, and the young players continue their assault offensively for the Sox.
It would be easy to say that it's been just the young players, but because they're all young players, this has become very exciting. Adam Engel had a couple of triples. You very rarely, if ever, will see that in the same game, but he was able to accomplish it. Leary scoring easily on the first triple. And Tim Anderson gets a hanging slider and takes it out of the ballpark. And Tim is starting to flex his muscles. This is a strong guy, starting to feel more comfortable hitting, and consequently the ball is leaving the ballpark. So in the 4-game winning streak, the team is hitting .310. They've scored 24 runs. That's 6 a game. And I was a math major, I can tell you that. Extra base hits at 17, 4 home runs. The ERA terrific for the starters. Everything going pretty well. And what's been exciting about this team is they never give up. They have been exciting. And quite obviously, putting a 4-game winning streak together, you'd have to say things are coming together.
A couple of veteran pitchers on the mound today, Ian Kennedy and James Shields.
Both of these guys have had some problems keeping the ball in the ballpark. As far as James Shields is concerned, he's averaged 2.4 home runs every 9 innings. As far as Ian Kennedy is concerned, he's averaged 1.75 home runs every 9 innings. So both of these guys have had their problems keeping the ball in the park, but Kennedy, for one, doesn't walk a whole lot of people. James Shields has had some problems in that respect. Hopefully he's able to keep that cutter down and he can keep the ball in the park. If he does, he's usually pretty good. There you see what's happened, and you see the ERAs respectively at 4.83 and 6.03. So both of these guys have had their difficulties. Ian Kennedy had a big year, winning 21 games for the Diamondbacks a few years ago. And James Shields, against a team that had him at one point, looking for redemption tonight.
Shields versus Kennedy. Sox trying to win the series once again against Kansas City. It's hat giveaway day today, and we'll have first pitch just around the corner.
Career major league win last night, pitching a scoreless 7th and 8th inning. He said he kept a couple of the balls in the scorecard, and even though his family wasn't here, they were cheering him on from afar. Even though the moment was cool for him, he said the team win was a bigger deal.
I was really happy that I just got out there, and we put up I think we put up a 4 spot. And, we're rolling right now, and it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling for myself to go out there and get the first win. But, also we've won 4 in a row. And, it's just winning is fun. And we'll just go with that and say that winning is fun, whether it's my first win or not.
White Sox and Royals Game 2. Jason Benetti and Steve Stone have the call just in a few minutes. First pitch coming up soon.
Ball at Guaranteed Rate Field. Sox have won 4 in a row, trying to make it 5. Coming up against the Kansas City Royals in Game 2 of this 3-game series. Little pregame fun in the White Sox dugout. Ricky Renteria cracks a smile in his first season as the skipper of the White Sox. Meantime, Ned Yost over from Milwaukee just under a decade ago, managing the Kansas City Royals.
Kansas City's lost 5 games in a row, and they've lost 8 of their last 10, dropping them 5 games in back of Cleveland. Minnesota in second place, 3.5 games back, and our Sox obviously way back in the Central. But the best thing about what's happened in this winning streak is the fact that these guys, as a newly minted team, coming together, and now they know what it's like to win some games consecutively and to get that feeling like this is a whole lot of fun. Let's keep doing it.
Sox trying to make it 5 straight. Those new hats on heads here in the ballpark. Here's the Kansas City lineup. Whit Merrifield leads it off, then Kane and Hosmer. Melky's in the 4 spot. Moustakas with the 2 homers last night. Brandon Moss facing the right-hander Shields. Escobar, Gordon, and Butera, very similar to yesterday's lineup.
Let's take a look at the defense and how they're going to line up behind James Shields, Lurie Garcia, Adam Engel, and Abisail Garcia. I'll be back in the lineup. I talked to him before the game. Says he's starting to feel pretty decent. Then it's Yolmer, Tim, Yoan, and Jose in the infield, with Omar Narvaez getting the nod behind the plate. And our Lexus Experience amazing starting pitcher is James Shields, on for his 13th start. ERA up over 6. And there you see the left-handers have really done him some damage. The reason is that changeup has been inconsistent. That has been the one thing that James always been able to count on. This year, he hasn't gotten a consistent release point from it. Umpires for the game tonight. Alan Porter's got the plate. The crew chief, Joe West, is at first base, with Rob Drake at second, and Hunter Wendelstedt is at third. So an absolutely gorgeous night for baseball. It's 73 degrees, not a cloud in the sky. It's unusual August weather, but just a great night to play baseball, a great night to be at the ballpark to watch this Sox team trying to win their 5th game in a row.
You heard from Aaron Bummer in the pregame talking about what it's like as a pitcher just to get those 4 runs and feel like the offense is going to prop you up. And the energy in the clubhouse, it invades every part of a team when you're hot, even if you're 23 games under 500.
The guys who are here don't feel like the early part of the year was their responsibility at all, because a lot of guys weren't here. And also, as this team comes together to experience everything that the Major League has to teach you, that includes prolonged losing streaks as well as some inconsistent baseball, and then factor in that this team, realizing now that there's a whole lot of talent all the way around, it's just a question of getting the experience as a team, and they're in the process of doing just that.
James Shields facing his former team. He made a grand total of 68 starts for the Royals from 2013 and 2014. He had a 3.18 earned run average with Kansas City. Shields against Whit Merrifield. First pitch tonight is in there for a strike.
James Shields has always been very good against the team he used to play with, and that is Kansas City Royals. He's 7-2 with an ERA just over 4 against him. Ian Kennedy 2-2 against our Sox.
Fastball away, 1-1 on Merrifield, who was 0 for 4 last night, at the top of the card for Kansas City in a 7-hit effort for the Royals, including 2 in the 9th inning when they started to build a rally. It fell short 6-3. Kansas City 1 game under 500, 57-58, 5 off the pace in the American League Central, and in a bunch for that wild card spot, the 2nd one in the American League. Right now, the Yankees have that first wild card spot at 8 games over, 61-53, but they're trailing in the bottom of the 9th to Boston 10-3 in early baseball today. And as we talked about yesterday, it's enjoyable to get in the way of somebody's playoff chances.
There's no doubt. If that's the only thing left to you, and that is to be a spoiler, then be a really good spoiler. And I think the Sox as a team are starting to enjoy what's been going on recently.
2-2 on Merrifield. And a swing and a miss. Strike three. Shields opens the game like Lopez did last night with a strikeout at Merrifield.
A few of these pitches for James, he dropped down, dropped the arm angle. That's a good cutter, low and away. He threw a couple of them right in the spot he wanted them. And Merrifield, who normally is a good, solid contact hitter, missed him by plenty.
Reynaldo Lopez in his debut last night for the Sox struck out 6 in 6 innings. All 6 of those strikeouts were in the first 3 innings of the game. Kane down a strike. Lorenzo Kane, the 31-year-old Royals center fielder.
One of the things that the Royals can't envision really is the fact that they've got a guy who's as good a hitter as Kane, but who's only driven in 36 runs. That's very surprising for them.
Oh, 0-2 on Kane, and as we take a look at the wild card standings, the Sox have games remaining against the Minnesota Twins, a bunch of them. Tampa Bay will be in here as well, and Kansas City is dotting the schedule, being an AL Central opponent. But 5 teams within a game and a half, and 4 within a half game of each other.
And taking a look at that would lead you to believe that we haven't seen the last of the deals. In fact, there's going to be some consequential trades made between now and when the rosters have to be set at the end of August. Those are the playoff rosters. You have to have them all set and ready to go by the end of August, and then you just hope to get in.
Sox last homestand of the season could have major playoff implications. It's 3 with Kansas City and 4 with the Angels. So Mike Trout will bring the Angels in here, and Ricky Renteria's team will try and get in their way. Or the Sox could just win out.
94 wins probably gets it done, but they've got to run the table.
Shields goes down and away to another right-hander and gets strikeout number 2. Good start for James.
Once again, dropping down from the side, throwing that cutter, keeping it away from Lorenzo Kane. He pulls out. You see the left shoulder pull out. When you do that, you've got no coverage outside part of the plate, especially if the guy on the mound is going to throw you a cutter or a slider.
Dropping down, what does that do for the pitcher?
Just gives, well, it gives what it does for the pitcher, not quite as much as what it will do to a hitter.
Eric Hosmer down the left field side into the sunlight it goes, and this ball is fair and gone.
What we talked about in the open was the difficulty of both of these pitchers to keep the ball in the ballpark. Our forward home run replay, he gets a hold of what appeared to be a cutter and takes it the opposite way. So we talked about the fact that James, 1, has had some trouble keeping the ball in the park, and 2, the left-handers have hurt him. So he gets out the 2 right-handers, and Hosmer hits his 19th home run to go with 62 driven in.
First hit of the series for Hosmer. And here's Melky Cabrera. Though they've been teammates, this is the 31st at bat for Melky against James Shields.
Well, you asked what dropping down means, and you're just trying to add to deception, because if you got 1 release point, which is usually high 3/4 for James or a lot of the right-handers, and then you drop down from the side at all, it gives a hitter a different release point to look at. But then again, if you're going to drop down sidearm, you don't want to consistently throw cutters, because that's the tip-off when you drop down sidearm to look for that particular pitch. That's why if James is going to drop down, and he's got enough experience to know that he's got to mix that fastball in with the cutter.
On the ground, second base, Moncada throws out Cabrera, and the inning's over. But the Royals have their 3rd solo home run of the series. 1-0 Kansas City with the lead. Sox starting lineup brought to you by the Webb Auto Group. For the best lineup of Chevys, Fords, Mitsubishis, Genesis, and Hyundais at the best prices, go to webcars.com. Garcia off the top, then Moncada and Abreu. Garcia, Delmonico, and Sanchez, and no third Garcia to start the final third of the lineup. Willie still on the DL. Anderson, Narvaez, and Engel.
Let's take a look at the defense and how they'll line up behind Ian Kennedy. It's Gordon with 4 Gold Gloves, Lorenzo Cain and Melky Cabrera in the outfield. Then Moustakas, Escobar, Merrifield, and Hosmer. 3 for Hosmer, 1 for Escobar. Drew Butera has the plate, and our Lexus Experience amazing starting pitcher is Ian Kennedy. On for his 22nd start, he's 4-8, ERA of 4.83. He mostly is a fastball pitcher, although the fastball is not overpowering.
Garcia first, and he puts a charge into one to right field. It goes, and this ball is foul.
Kennedy with 20 home runs surrendered in 113 2/3. Normally what he does at 92 or 93 gets a little extra jump on his fastball, but these days the fastball is straight, and Liuri just hoping it stays fair. Joe West on the call, and it does not.
This one on the ground to the right side, and Merrifield for out number 1 as we show you our picks to click for tonight. Don't forget, you can always vote online at whitessox.com/pick-to-click. The Crew has the lead 18-15 over Steve, who's got Moncada today, and the fans have tied me for 3rd place. Avi to the fans. I'll go with Yolmer.
Yolmer already had an assist. He assisted on the sunglasses for Liuri in left field.
Not shown in the box score, but big play.
Right, it could turn out to be a very big play.
Moncada takes ball number 1.
Kennedy has an overhand curveball to go with his fastball, and normally he threw just about as many fastballs as anybody around. That's usually what he depends on still, but he's not getting the kind of late movement that he was normally getting on it. That's one of the reasons why that ERA is up close to 5.
2 balls and a strike. Moncada with 14 hits now in a Sox jersey, and part of the reason Kennedy's ERA is up high against the Sox is Yohan had his very first career hit for the White Sox against Kennedy last time the Sox saw the Royals. Two balls, 2 strikes. Kennedy in that start went 4+, gave up 6 hits, 5 earned runs, including the 3-run triple with 2 out in the 3rd to Yohan Moncada.
He went to the inside fastball after shaking off the curve and slider.
Swing and a miss, ball gets away. Butera won't get there fast enough, and Moncada bolts for first.
Although Kennedy missed his spot, we saw a little added jump on the fastball high and away this time to Moncada. And Butera, who normally is a very good defensive catcher, lets that one get away. Moncada with good speed and recognition. He looks back and he sees he's got a sprint, and he's aboard.
It's a pass ball on Butera.
Should be.
And it is. Now Abreu takes a fastball inside, a ball and no strikes. Jose has hit Ian Kennedy very well. 6 for 16, a home run so far in his career.
Kennedy's fastball at 93 tonight, which is a little bit better than he's been doing of recent vintage. He's been down at 90-91.
Moncada's off, and he is out at second base.
Yohan decided not to slide, and it might have cost him. Butera got rid of the ball quickly, and he got it down there as it turned out, in plenty of time. Wasn't a great break. And Yuan just pulled up for whatever reason, and he didn't look back. He didn't notice any contact, so then he stops. It certainly is rectified if you take a look back and see there is no contact, but slowing down, he was thrown out.
Second down of the inning, Abreu from Kennedy, and 1-2. Little message from the manager, Ricky Renteria.
Well, you know that he's talking to him about picking up the hitter. When you go down there, you want to pick up the hitter, and if you just peek back, you're not going to lose any speed. And that's what he's talking to him about. Again, a teachable moment for Rick. And he's got to do that a lot. He's got a lot of inexperienced players.
Jose flicks it to left, and a base hit with 2 down. We've seen now twice in the last 2 days the Sox giving up an out on the base path, either with Abreu coming up or Abreu at the plate.
You saw him bring his hands in, and there's the case of bringing his hands in so he can get the good part of the bat on the ball. If he tries to get extension on that, he's going to break his bat. Maybe hit a little weak little ground ball, a looper to short. By bringing his hands in and putting the better part of the bat on it, he was able to ease it over the head of Escobar. So good piece of hitting by Jose Abreu.
Leaving a runner on for Avi Garcia, who was out of the lineup in yesterday's game after playing that 11-inning game against the Astros and saying that his legs were a little bit tired. He was on the shelf for a while, then comes back, plays 11 innings.
But we talked about that. As you see what he's done against the Royals this year, pretty impressive. And Avi said to me that he was kind of surprised because he was feeling pretty good when he came back. He was surprised at how sore he had gotten by playing 11 innings. And obviously, when you take any time off, your body is going to have an adjustment coming back.
Avi down the left field side, and this drops in. Abreu's on his way to third. Gordon gets it in quickly. Abreu runs through a stop sign, and he is out at the plate. Jose thought he had it. The red light was on, and the Royals have their second out of the inning on the base path, 1-0. CSNChicago.com, presented by The Great Escape. Pools, patio furniture, hot tubs, and more. Escape your everyday. Shop The Great Escape.
Let's take a look at how the inning ended. 4 gold gloves for Alex Gordon because he hits cutoff men. You see Nick Capra doing everything he could do but tackle Jose to try to hold him there. And of course, he's out from a long way. You can only, if you're the coach, you put up a stop sign, you hope they actually stop.
And Nick held it up there for a while too.
He also got in his sight line, and that's what a good third base coach is going to do, because obviously guys will cut the base a little differently. You want to get in the sight line of the runner. He did, but to no avail.
At some point, you have to bail if you're the coach.
Especially after back surgery, I would think that Nick would come in second to Jose.
So a caught stealing and a throw out at the plate. That ball is ripped to right field and in for Mike Moustakas. Garcia can't handle it at first in the corner, so Moustakas cleanly to second to lead off the second inning.
That's most likely going to be a double. 17th of the year as he reaches down, gets a breaking ball, and takes it down the line. Moustakas is going for 2 anyway. This is actually a pretty good pitch as Moustakas takes it off the ground and hits it into the right field corner. So he's going for second base. He's going for 2. Whether Avi catches it or not, been a tough play for Avi to make. It's a double anyway. I think James a little surprised that Moustakas was able to hit the ball as well as he did with the location of that pitch.
Yeah, I think you nailed that look. That was how'd you do that?
Wow, yeah.
Here's Brandon Moss, power hitter for hire. 33-year-old who's got 15 homers this year, and he takes ball 1. He's been all over the map. He's been in Oakland, he's been in St. Louis, among others.
Well, James doesn't want to throw anything in the same location he threw to Moustakas, because Moss is a dead low ball hitter and has been for quite some time.
It's up in the zone for a strike, 1-1. So Moss's total teams is Boston, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, Oakland, Cleveland, St. Louis, Kansas City. 7.
Much travel. 30 home runs with Oakland in 2013. He is a very powerful hitter.
One and 2 on Moss with Moustakas at second.
That's how you can actually attack a low ball hitter, by throwing it down and out of the zone. It looks pretty enticing, but winds up in the dirt. Moss has got to find some way to pull the ball, which is his job to do, and James is trying to stop him from doing it.
Couldn't do it there. Strike 3. Third strikeout for Shields. The 2017 Chicago White Sox are presented by Guaranteed Rate. Buying a new home has never been faster or easier with the world's best digital mortgage. Go to rate.com now. One out, and Alcides Escobar, the shortstop, who's 5 for 11 career against James Shields. A lot of swings and misses so far for James.
I think it's a product of a couple of different things. Number one, you start a game at 6'10", the visibility is not going to be good. There's some darkness around the plate even with the lights on. Number two, James has got a very good cutter tonight. And to the right-handers, he's hit his spot consistently.
Only hits are from the lefties. Hosmer the home run, Moustakas the double.
Escobar on a record pace even for him. Man who walked 27 times last year, 26 the year before, has only 9. So he will swing at just about everything.
Fouls that one away, 1 and 2. Elsewhere in the American League Central, one other divisional game going on. The Twins and Tigers are lumbering to the 4th with 12 runs on the board, with the Twins leading 7-5. That's Jose Barrios versus Jordan Zimmerman, and only Barrios remains in the game.
That Twin team offensively, they're loaded.
They've stayed afloat pretty well. They've gotten hot recently.
And this was not supposed to be their year at all. This was for them the second year of a rebuilding process. They changed their front office. They traded away or let go of a few quality players. It'll be interesting to see what they do with Dozier, who's one of the stars of that team. But they've got some thunder up and down that lineup.
They've won 6 in a row coming into tonight, and they're 3.5 back of Cleveland, which is up 2-0 in the 5th against Tampa Bay this evening so far. 2-2 to Escobar. Moustakas at second. And Escobar bashes this ball to right center field. Engel can't get there, and Escobar may have 3 on his mind. Javi picks it up and throws it in. Escobar stops there. It's an RBI triple, and the Royals have a 2-0 lead.
Good effort by Adam Engel, but with this ball slicing away from him, he came up short and then couldn't stop it from getting by him. So he made the long run. He was playing just to the left of straightaway center, and this ball is slicing away. The dive, the sunglasses go flying, and the ball goes to the wall.
With Adam shading toward left center field, that extra step came into play.
And 38 runs driven in now for Escobar.
And the infield drawn in with 1 out and a runner at third.
Very frustrating year for Alex Gordon. He's maintained his Gold Glove defense in left field and tried everything he knows to this point to try to break out of what has been a season-long slump offensively.
Wide at first, and Rusty Kuntz.
Showing very good reflexes and wisely stayed out of the way of that one.
Alex Gordon, his best monthly batting average this year is .232 in July. To your point, he opened at 184 in April, hit 164 in May, and that April includes a .218 slugging percentage. So not only was he not getting hits, he only had 3 doubles and no homers. His first homer was in June.
Last night he swung the bat a bit better than we saw him swinging in Kansas City.
Again, the surprise is much more because of the body of work he's put in prior to this year in terms of his ability at the plate.
Nobody can quite figure it out, because what normally is said to hitters, you got to work your way out of it. But he's a tireless worker. In fact, there are a lot of folks around Kansas City believe maybe he takes so many swings and works so hard that it's actually reaching the law of diminishing returns.
And you look for a career at .341 on base percentage for the career, including the .289 this season. Some impressive numbers as Butera's on deck with Salvi Perez still out of the lineup with that intercostal strain. Escobar at third, the payoff grounded foul. If I told you right now you had to pick the wild card teams in the American League, we have a month and a half remaining. You had to pick your favorites for the 2 wild card spots in the American League. Would you say Yankees and somebody else, or would you say maybe 2 other teams? That's called strike 3. Shields plucks out the outside corner and gets the call from Al Porter. 2 down.
Looked like a backdoor cutter, and nicely caught by Omar as he took the natural movement of the ball and eased the glove across into the zone. So, yep, it was a bit wide. However, it looked a lot better, and Omar sold the call and got it.
2 down, Butera with Escobar at third, and the infield moving back with 2 away.
Normally, I would tell you that the Yankees will be there definitively, but they just put Tanaka on the DL. They've had all kinds of injuries, and since the All-Star break, one of their huge weapons, Aaron Judge, is not swinging the bat near as well. So although they're sitting there on top, I think the Yankees will get there. Then the question is, flip a coin between everybody else, because it's going to be a great race for the second wild card team. James wanted that one, thought he had part of the knee at the lower part of the zone, and did not get the call. Butera's come up with some big hits against our Sox, although not known as a great offensive player. He will make contact.
Longtime AAA catcher in the Minnesota organization, has gotten some good run last couple of years with Kansas City as Perez's backup.
You want your backup to be able to catch it, call it, block it, and throw it, and Butera can do all of those things very well.
Outside ball 4, first walk comes on 4 pitches to the 9-hitter from Shields.
Only the 8th walk that Butera has gotten all year.
So back to the top of the lineup card with Merrifield. His father Bill was a longtime minor league player, about half a decade worth, and his grandfather Bill Sr., when Witt had just come up from AAA, Bill Sr. got into the car from North Carolina and drove about 650 miles here to Chicago to see grandson play.
His grandson's having some trouble picking up the cutter tonight.
Escobar at third, Butera at first. Merrifield into center. Escobar scores. The Royals have another. It's 3-0.
RBI 51 for Merrifield. This ball had a piece of the plate, and he stays right with it, takes it right back up the middle. James is disappointed in the location for that because he'd been swinging at just about every one of those cutters out of the zone. That time he swung at one in the zone, turned it into a run.
So Escobar's triple drives in a run and ends in him scoring a run. 2 home in the inning, and now Lorenzo Cain. Royals trying to bounce out of 5 straight losses, including last night in 6-3. I don't think Cain's seeing it great in this series either.
No, because he had 2 pitches right down the middle, and the last of which he fouled off. Very hittable pitch. Big gap in left center with Adam Engel around toward right center.
That was up, and Cain fouls it away.
Not a real good idea on high fastballs. James has struggled in that respect this year. Well hit average of 333 on his high fastball. That's last. 144 qualified starting pitchers. League average on high fastballs, well hit, 150.
0-2 is low.
Good location. That's where Omar wanted it. But Kane was not enticed.
Typically, it's been curveball with 2 strikes for Shields. About 43% of the time, with 2 strikes on a hitter, he'll throw the curveball. One and 2. In the air, foul ground, first base side, and Abreu. 3 hits for Kansas City, 2 runs, 3-0 after 1.5. Chicago is presented by State Farm, and we'd like to welcome all our viewers watching on Zing TV, Zing in Rensselaer, Indiana. That's where you get all your punchlines, Steve. Zing TV.
Oh, I thought Rensselaer. It's a good place for jokes.
It is?
Oh, yeah.
You been recently?
No.
They're watching us on Zing TV.
Hello, zingers.
That was for you. Nicky Delmonico, Yolmer Sanchez, Tim Anderson coming up. And there's strike 1 to Delmonico, who has reached base in 10 straight games to start his White Sox career. First White Sox player to do that since 1936. Ian Kennedy on 1-1, and Delmonico tags this ball on a line. Base hit, 11 straight games to start his career on base for Nicky Delmonico.
He got a hold of one upstairs. This is one of the few curveballs Kennedy has thrown tonight, and he got it up in the zone. And Nicky, it's a sinking line drive that falls in front of Melky.
Nicky Delmonico has acquitted himself very well, especially at the plate since coming up.
He looks very comfortable. Much more comfortable than you would think for a guy who hadn't been here before, but he's hit the ball hard. He's a strong guy.
Yolmer Sanchez takes a strike. Couple driven in yesterday, including one on a wonderful bunt by Sanchez, with Adam Engel sprinting down the third base line to slide under a tag. Ian Kennedy against Yolmer Sanchez, and Yolmer 1 for 7 all time against Kennedy. sliced foul by Sanchez.
Nice ability to stay alive as he let that ball get deep, realized it was too close to take, and fouled it off. Kennedy trying to recapture that magic he had in 2011 with the Arizona Diamondbacks. 21-4 that year with an ERA 2.88 in 33 starts. A magnificent year for him.
Escobar, Merrifield, and a double play, 6-4-3. 2 down as we check in on our minor league report, our White Sox farm report. Zach Collins nearing 20 home runs in a Winston-Salem Dash jersey, and this ball was crushed all the way to the cakery.
That was a sinking line drive that left the yard. A power hitting catcher, first round draft pick of our Sox, and a man with a great command of the strike zone.
When was the last time you visited the cakery?
It's been a while.
Yeah?
Yeah. Where is it?
Evidently in Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Oh, yeah, no. Wasn't there when I was there.
When were you there?
On a springtime southern trip as a member of the Kent State University Golden Flashes baseball team.
Did you play the Deeks?
We played, well, we went to play Lynchburg.
Okay, that's not in North Carolina.
No, but that was the start of it, which was great because it was a southern trip.
Yep.
It was 34 degrees at Kent.
Oof.
And 33 in Lynchburg.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, true. Good.
That's not the point of a southern trip.
Nice southern trip. And then we did play Wake and went to Duke. Beautiful campus at Duke.
That whole run of schools down there is lovely. 2-2. Ian Kennedy strikes out Anderson. Second strikeout for Kennedy. 3-0 Royals after 2 innings tonight.
An exclusive one-on-one interview with two-time Stanley Cup champion and returning Blackhawks fan favorite Brandon Saad. From his youth hockey years to his return to Chicago, watch Inside Look, presented by Cadillac, Monday at 7 on CSN or live stream at csnchicago.com/watchlive.
We were just reminiscing in the booth about when the Royals were in here last year and the pancake artist made a pancake of Rex Hudler. Yomer watches that fly foul. Rex came into the booth during the half-inning break.
He did. He wanted to know something that was an oddity for him, and he wanted to know actually if a guy could drop down and throw a changeup. which I told him, yes, if you were consistently throwing sidearm, but if you just drop down occasionally, it's really tough to master a change from a different release point than you normally use. He's an enthusiastic guy.
Yeah, Rex isn't short on energy. Hosmer a base hit to lead off the third, but it is an interesting question considering we saw Shields drop down much more in the first couple innings than we've seen him do all year.
No, it is, and it's just a very difficult thing to do, although we've seen some really good straight changes from sidearm or submarine right-handers who stay down there consistently. But for the guys who do it occasionally, they're not going to be able to consistently master a release point.
This has been more rare than you'd expect for a team that's been 23 under 500. The Sox, though, coming into this series were +2 run differential in the first 3 innings of the year.
That is somewhat surprising because of some difficulties with the starting rotation, some injuries, and some, well, many trades.
Down the line, and that's a foul ball. Very calmly called by Joe West.
It's one of the reasons why first basemen, when they're holding a runner close, can't come off the bag too far. This one didn't miss by much, as you can see, but Joe West is right there and casually says, "Don't worry, Jose, it's foul." The dean of Major League umpires, Joe West,
presiding over first base tonight. Cowboy Joe got his dancing shoes on for that ground ball. Thanks, Melky. Maybe. Yeah. 2 double play.
So Melky grounds into his 9th double play of the year with plenty of time and a strong arm. Tim Anderson guns Melky down at first.
So here's Moustakas, who doubled in the second and homered twice yesterday. Driven in 75 with the 34 home runs this season.
Here you see the radical shift. And Moustakas, who hit a couple of home runs in the ball game last night, one to left center field.
And when you look at the home run record for Kansas City for a single season, it's going down. It's 36.
Steve Balboni,
1985. Not going to go down here, but it'll go down at some point with Moustakas having 34. Gary Gaetti's in second place at 35 back in 95, and there is now a 4-way tie for third place. You want to just take a stab at the other 3 guys who have 34 home runs in a season?
Freddie Patek.
No.
Al Cowens.
More recent.
Kevin Seitzer.
Well, good guess, but no. One's a former Sox player. He was only here for a very short time. So an early edition of Sticks and Stone that has nothing to do with Steve's career. John Mayberry, 75.
Yes.
He's the non-recent one.
I think I threw a few of those, by the way.
Mayberry? I
Yeah.
think so too. Yeah, we may get to it later. Danny Tartable, 1987. And then most recently, other than Moustakas, Dean Palmer back in 1998, who might be connected to other teams more than Kansas City mentally, Texas and Detroit.
Looks very much like Moss is in swing mode, so I think James would be well served with a breaking ball down and out of the zone. And if you don't get him on the first one, you probably will get him on the second one.
How about the first one? Inning over. 5 strikeouts for Shields. 3-0 your score, bottom 3.
Game reported a quick injury update on Willie Garcia. He was in the clubhouse today. He was getting some physical activity. Finally, he said he was going to go run on the treadmill. This is the first time he's exercised since he had surgery on his broken jaw. He also said he's been able to eat rice and meat for the last 2 days. Now, mind you, for the first 2 days after his surgery, he couldn't even talk. He also said he's lost 10 or 15 pounds, so he's glad to be off of the liquid diet. Jason and Steve.
That's good news. The first reaction when Willie got hit was that it was going to be bad. I mean, that collision was awful looking, and just to know that he's on the mend and growing in terms of diet, that is not easy.
No, and it's not an easy surgery either. They put a little plate in his jaw.
Omar in the air left side. Alex Gordon for out number 1. I've asked actually if we can get you that surgery periodically. No talking for a couple days.
Now, see, that's the kind of guy you are. Me, I'm kind of a kid guy.
You are? You
Yeah.
love kids.
Oh, yes. And hot dogs especially.
Where'd that kid go? Somebody drop a hot dog?
He wants to remain anonymous.
One down for Engel. Adam with a pair of triples in yesterday's game. First White Sox player with 2 in a game since Alejandro De Aza. Nearly 6 years ago to the day. It was August 16th, 2011. Ian Kennedy has been all over the plate so far tonight.
Kennedy normally has great command of that fastball. Tonight it's even better, and that was a good breaking.
Third strikeout for Kennedy. Join us at Guaranteed Rate Field as the Sox take on the Tampa Bay Rays Saturday, September 2nd. You want one of these. First 20,000 fans get a Mark Burley bobblehead presented by Toyota. Visit WhiteSox.com to buy your tickets today or call 866-SOX-GAME. Number 56 retired earlier this year in a wonderful ceremony at the ballpark.
Really was. It was just a beautiful day and a great ceremony honoring one of the great people that's ever worn a White Sox uniform. Not only was he a terrific pitcher, just a great guy.
could tell by the reactions of teammates and people who know him, whether it be security guards around the ballpark or front office people. Just the joy that day in the ballpark was pretty awesome.
Look at how many guys actually flew in for the ceremony, and there was a bunch of his former teammates.
One and two on Garcia.
He hit the ball pretty hard the first time, just missing a home run. So he obviously saw it well the first time. Let's see if he sees it well now, especially on this breaky down.
Swing and a miss. Butera can't hang on. He makes the tag and the inning's over. We'll play the fourth with the Royals leading by 3. Stone along with you. Here's what you can win from our prize shelf today. A lot of great stuff, don't we?
I was asked what kind of socks these are, and they were actually in that throwback game, the socks they wore in 1917, and they're, as you can see, they had very long legs back then. So that's why they're long socks.
You can also today, very special day, you can win Steve's pullover.
Ooh, no, I can't.
I thought we agreed that we're going to put some of your clothing on the prize shelf now.
Well, normally, yes, normally I would do that, but this is my good luck red smock.
That's a smock?
Yeah.
I don't want to work in Steve's art studio. 2 strikes on Escobar. You have your Buckeye look going on today, by the way.
This scarlet and gray. What with football season right around the corner.
It is. Two strikes for Escobar. 1 and 2. We have weekend Sox math coming up, so it's a little bit shorter. You don't have to have your high-powered calculator for this one. In fact, just maybe last night's box score.
So speed will be a huge factor this evening.
Time is of the essence. 1 and 2. Downstairs, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Shields so far, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts, 6 hits allowed through 3. Such great years with Kansas City, the 2013-2014 seasons. ERA just over 3. Five starts in the postseason in that run to the World Series 2014 before losing at the end of the road. Started the wild card game against Oakland that year as he couldn't fish out the inside corner that time.
Pretty good pitch, and you can understand where James would have wanted that. Number one, it ends the at bat. Number two, it looked like it had a piece of the plate.
Three and two for Escobar. On a breaking ball, he slams it down the line and foul.
James wanted that one away, knowing that Escobar usually swings at everything when he gets to a full count. But he had too much of the plate, and Escobar got out ahead, hit it hard but foul.
Gordon next, Butera after him. Another breaking ball, another foul ball left side. Foul ground first base side this time, and that will find his seats as well. So still 3 and 2. Told you the Royals are a game and a half back of Minnesota in the Central. Twins are leading now 8-6 in the 5th today in Detroit. So Minnesota trying to get to a 7th straight win just when you thought the Twins might be fading out of the race. They've started to play some good baseball again. 3 and 2 from Shields. Second base, Moncada off the short hop. Throws Escobar out, one away. And here's your Sox Math question for today. Hashtag Sox Math on Twitter. First correct answer wins a prize off the prize shelf. And here is your query for this evening. Number of innings Reynaldo Lopez pitched last night multiplied by Adam Engel's total bases last night. Who will defeat Rate's left field foul pole?
That's pretty easy.
You got it?
Sure. But I have to disqualify myself. I don't know why, but I will.
That's very upstanding of you.
Yes.
It's because the other 10 pairs of socks you already took home, right?
I would go after the Sox because I can't lift that gnome. We finally got one I can't break. It seems to weigh about 200 pounds. It's a hefty gnome.
The foul pole asked for the gnome as his or her prize last night, and I said shipping would be too expensive.
Yeah, you'd have to get
$400.
A gigantic truck to haul it out of here. There you see the shift.
And he hits through it anyway. Gordon through the right side fortress with a one-out single. Come together. It's Beatles night at Guaranteed Rate Field Monday, August 21st. Twist and shout to your favorite Beatles songs as the Sox take on the Minnesota Twins. Purchase this ticket package to receive a game ticket and commemorative Beatles White Sox hat. Visit whitesox.com/Beatles. One on for Butera.
We have seen Ned Yost in the past use the hit and run with Butera. Normally chokes up on the bat, normally makes some contact. He has yet to ground into a double play in 108 plate appearances. Because he is a catcher, that's kind of unusual. Gordon with decent speed, not an accomplished base stealer, however. He swiped 5 of them in 8 attempts.
Kansas City 10th in the league, 67 steals overall. Most of those from Merrifield and Kane at the top of the lineup, 40.
Yeah, they've run well when they've run. It's not as fast a Kansas City team as we've seen in the past, but with 67 and 16, they're very effective when they do go.
You got a glimpse at Ned Yost, Edgar Frederick Yost III.
Former Major League catcher. former manager of the Milwaukee Brewers. And the 8th year as a Royals manager. Just about 500.
Two and 0. Gordon at first. He doesn't run, and Butera takes a called strike at the very edge of the zone.
Normally, if you think about running at all, this would be the perfect pitch for it. You don't see many, if any, 2-1 pitch outs.
No go. Butera in the air, left field. Garcia back. He's at the warning track, and he's there. Gordon on his way to second. He is safe.
Good throw by Lurie. Almost had him at second base as Gordon decides to tag up. If you're going to judge all the left fielders' arms in baseball, Lurie would have one of the strongest arms of anybody who's playing left field for you. And this throw is on the money, but it looked like the left hand got in before the tag.
Certainly closer than it should have been on average.
He's got a gun, and that serves him well in the number of different positions that he's played.
Gordon does get the base. Merrifield, the batter. Second baseman who came up with an RBI single with 2 out in the second. Ball 1 blocked by Omar. Outside, so Merrifield ahead 2-0 with Kane on deck.
Merrifield really is very similar to, well, for Kansas City, he's their Yolmer Sanchez. He can play any position, only he plays the outfield positions, and give you a quality effort each and every time out, because that batting average knocking at the door of 300.
He would have fit in very well with the World Series team. Never made it up in order to join the team, but his type of player would have fit in with what Kansas City did that year to win it.
They also had Kansas City. One of the reasons they did win it is obviously the bullpen. It was a lockdown bullpen, very tough to deal with, but they also had a lot of speed, and in the playoffs they had Terrence Gore as well as Gerard Dyson. And both of those guys turn around games late. Gore was strictly a pinch runner type. Dyson was an outfielder to go with it.
Merrifield takes one, 3-1. That was pitch number 75 for Shields tonight. Sox bullpen only had to use 3 guys in back of Lopez last night because of 2 strong from Aaron Bummer. 3-1. Up the middle on the ground. Moncada behind the bat. From the first. He aced him. Moncada cuts down Merrifield, flashing the range again. And the inning's over thanks to Yoan Moncada. What a play.
Midwest West Region Rocket League Championship. Watch as players face off for a chance to compete for the $100,000 prize pool in LA. That's right here on CSN after White Sox postgame live.
You were practicing Rocket League last night, I know.
I think there's a lot of room to burst on the scene and be a Rocket League champion.
Contract values are skyrocketing if you're a
top. Long-term deals now are in vogue.
Guaranteed money.
Guaranteed rate.
2 balls and no strikes on Moncada. It's another word I can't say now. 2-1.
And what a play by Yoan Moncada. He's not the first to try that play, but he makes it as well as anybody.
It looks very easy when he does it, going behind the bag, but the throw component is the real tough part.
Getting it over there for one and getting it over there accurately for two is something he does well.
Kennedy repeats the pitch for a strikeout. It's his 5th of the night. Here's your Sox math answer for this evening. A lot of correct answers, but Shy Sox Patrick was first in. 6 innings for Lopez last night, times 6 bases for Engel on his 2 triples. 36 is your answer. Shy Sox Patrick is the winner. 1 down for Jose Abreu. You tell the people what you're doing in the booth, the hijinks that you've...
I brought you a Cuban sandwich.
No, you didn't.
Well, close.
Molly brought me a Cuban sandwich, and you hid my Cuban sandwich.
Is that what happened?
Moncada and Abreu came up, and you stole my Cuban sandwich. Ball and a strike on Jose, who singled to left in the first and was thrown out at the plate on the double by Avi Garcia. One and one. Jose drills it to left field. Gordon back at the warning track. He's waiting. He leaps. He can't get there. It's gone. Abreu clears Gordon and the wall. It's 3-1.
He and Kennedy tried to get that fastball in on Jose's hands. It didn't work the first time in the first inning, and it doesn't work here in the 4th. That's home run number 20. It's RBI number 69. Our 4th home run replay is an inside fastball. You see Jose opening up, not getting all of it, but getting just enough past the outstretched glove of Alex Gordon. And Kennedy can't believe it.
Oh, he's incensed.
He said something about, "Are you kidding me?" And no, we are not.
I think he used the word froggy in there somewhere. With that home run, another generous donation from the Alex Snellius family in loving memory of Ursula. That's what happens sometimes with Jose Abreu. You make not a terrible pitch, and he can make it hurt.
Yeah, look, he's just an excellent hitter, and he's shown you a couple of different styles where on the inside pitch in the first inning he went with an inside out swing and got a base hit, and this time he just opened up and got just enough of it to get it out.
So Kennedy, who was really in the left lane for a while, he had retired 6 in a row without much trouble, gives up the home run. Now 2-1 on Garcia. 3-1. You saw the frustration build for Kennedy after the home run, and suddenly he's behind.
There are a lot of different sports or a lot of different positions where you can make anger work for you. If you're a pitcher, anger is a luxury you can't afford because it normally distorts your perceptions. And when you get aggravated about something, the tendency to try to overthrow, even a veteran like Ian Kennedy. Trying to overthrow that fastball, you miss your spot by plenty, and now he's in a hole to Avi.
3 balls and a strike. Good placement, 3-2. Seemed like a good time for Butera to go out to the mound there too, just for a moment.
Yep.
3-2. Up high and hit in the air, foul. Sox fans host a pregame patio party this season. Receive a game ticket and an all-you-can-eat buffet and all-inclusive wine, beer, and Coke products. Patio opens 90 minutes prior to the game and closes 30 minutes after the start of the game. To purchase tickets, visit whitesox.com/group. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and Avi is hit by the pitch. So after a thumb injury last month, Avi gets clipped by this one up high and near the hands again.
Inside fastball rides up and in, and Avi got hit. It appears it was just below the wrist. And if it's more meat than bone, that's a good thing.
He's talking to Daryl Boston over there at first, and now Nicky Delmonico, who was on base in the 2nd inning with a single. He's the first Sox player to reach base in the first 11 games of his major league career.
It's really been an amazing run, and he's done it with a couple of bunts to foil the shift. And now because of that, Moustakas is playing a normal third base position, although he's in on the grass.
A little bit low, 2-0, and here's the hit that got him to 11.
Got a hanging curveball and hit a sinking line drive that fell in front of Melky.
10 out of 10 is not the maximum. He goes to 11. 2-0. Fouled away by Delmonico. 2 balls and a strike.
Huge gap in left center. We've seen Nicky go that way on occasion. Kane is swung around toward right center. There you see the defense and you see the gap. Infield playing pretty much straight away, which is a radical departure from how Boston played it.
2-2. What a great story for Nicky to be able to go to Fenway Park right after his call-up, hit that first home run, and have his family in attendance after 2003 being at a White Sox-Red Sox game, having vivid memories of going to Fenway Park, and family in tow for the trip.
It's been a very exciting early run for Nicky Delmonico.
Brother's going to need a bigger trophy case. Nicky keeps this up. Two balls, 2 strikes. Laser foul, first base side.
Butera going to the mound once again. That was a pretty decent curveball, hit awfully hard by Delmonico.
Think of the fun we'd have in baseball if a ball off the sidewall could then bounce back into fair territory and be a fair ball. The shifts would be even more dramatic.
Yeah, you'd need about 15 defenders, though, to cover all the area
as a pitcher. You don't like that very much?
I
rule change?
love 15 defenders. I think that's just the right number.
Is that right? Batting averages decline with rule change.
That is looking southeast. Just a beautiful night. And that's the shot is Lake Michigan in the background.
Throw to first. Avi back. 73 degrees. A little chill in the air tonight, but nothing untoward.
It's really been surprising and just gorgeous on this homestand, especially. The temperatures have not skyrocketed in August.
2-2. Another foul ball from Delmonico. He'll see an 8th pitch. Coca-Cola Family Sunday tomorrow. Should be another great day at the ballpark. Kids can run the bases after the game. Two and two one more time. Another foul ball from young Nicky Delmonico.
Well, as a fan or a spectator, you love to see this kind of battle. As a pitcher, it does not make it so that you want to throw a party. You would just as soon him put the ball in play.
Kennedy to Delmonico. Another one. And now the crowd wants more and more. Every foul ball gets them riled up.
It's going to be the 10th pitch of the at-bat as once again Butera goes to the mound. And
But this next one coming, it's going to be exactly a 6th of Ian Kennedy's pitches for the night in this trip to the plate.
good battle. Very entertaining battle.
Two and two over again. He got him swinging. Too close to take. Strikeout number 6 and a round of applause for Delmonico, even with the strikeout.
Well, catchers are very crafty. What we don't see here is the fact that Butera patted the ground right by the foot of Delmonico because sound-wise, you want the hitter to think you're throwing a breaking ball in the dirt. He had called the fastball already, pounded the dirt, and then threw a high fastball by him. Those catchers are crafty. You got to watch them every minute. They does it again.
2 down and a strike. Who was the craftiest catcher you ever saw?
Ooh. Good question. Well, the best that I had personally was Rick Dempsey in my years with Baltimore. As far as crafty, there is one guy that caught me when I was with the White Sox. I'll tell you a good story about him. Jim Essien.
After the break.
Yeah,
Merrifield to first. White Sox TV continues to lead the league in stories with 2 out. 3-1 your score off the homer from Abreu.
look forward to Miller time later in the game, brought to you by Miller Lite.
We reached the 5th inning. It's Lorenzo Cain, Eric Hosmer, Melky Cabrera coming up.
James would love to have a shutdown inning. He's had 1-1-2-3 inning. That coming. Well, no, he has had no 1-2-3 innings.
First pitch here to Cain is swung through. 0 for 6, 4 strikeouts for Cain in the series so far.
And he came in hitting it pretty well, so Sox pitchers have cooled him off. And the way Hosmer has swung at James Shields, this becomes a key man to keep off base.
Five strikeouts, 1 walk for Shields tonight. 1-2. Good breaking ball for strike 3, and Cain is deposited back on the bench. Strikeout number 6 for Shields.
Good sweeping breaking ball as he drops down from the side, but still stays on top of the ball. That's the key. You can drop down sidearm, but you can't let your fingers get under the ball because the ball stays up. He had his fingers on top, good rotation, and a strikeout curveball.
So here's Eric Hosmer, who's seen 3 pitches so far tonight. 1 a single, 1 a homer. He has made a living torturing the American League Central. Eric Hosmer, age 27. 94 runs driven in his own division since 2016 began. Arenado of the Rockies at 110 the most. Eric Hosmer, who credited the guy on deck, Melky Cabrera, with quite a bit of his learning how to play the game. Hosmer had just come up when Melky was in that Royals clubhouse back in the early 2010s and 2011, and Hosmer said not only is it his routine and how he handles himself, but how much fun he has on the baseball diamond as well. Tim Anderson playing short to the right side of second. 2 down. Sox fans, check out the Craft Cave located in right field. Craft Cave features over 75 craft beers, a full bar menu including craft burgers, and a lively atmosphere for all fans. For an additional charge, you can sit in the bullpen porch above the visiting bullpen throughout the game. For more info, call 312-674-1000 or visit whitesox.com. You were talking about Jim Essien before the break.
Yeah,
as a crafty catcher.
Being a crafty catcher. But we're with 2 outs again.
No, that's why we're doing it.
Oh, I see. So I got to do it quickly.
We have to continue our league lead.
1st and 3rd in Oakland.
Yep.
He comes out, tells me if the guy at first runs, don't react. So I didn't know what he wanted me to do exactly. I just knew that I wouldn't react. And so the guy runs. He comes up throwing. I don't react. And then I see whatever it was he threw go spiraling up in the middle of the infield and then comes down. And it became apparent when he stood at home plate with a baseball in his hand that he had not thrown the baseball. It was his catching sponge. And the man at third was so confused he didn't run, which was the purpose of trying to deceive him in the first place. So he tried to do it in a very crafty fashion, and then he came out to the mound, and I said, "You tried to get him with the old sponge trick." And he said, "Yeah, but it didn't work." I said, "No, it did not." And he was the craftiest catcher.
Sponge Jim? He didn't live in a pineapple, did he?
No.
Inside on Melky, 1-2.
Then there was
a good try, though.
There was a guy in the catcher in the minor leagues that actually had a potato that he threw. But for him, it didn't appear to be that funny because I believe they released him the next day.
Where did he get the potato?
At the potato store, I guess.
That is not an actual place to buy anything. Ah, Sierra and Southpaw hanging out.
Southpaw is a really engaging fellow.
People are going to start talking, Paw.
Well, Paw's not going to start talking, I don't think. He's normally very quiet.
Paul and 2 strikes on Cabrera. What is a potato thing? He threw a potato rather than a ball?
Yeah, trying to fool the base runner into going because then he had the baseball in his hand after he threw the potato.
In which clubhouse are there potatoes that you can readily grab?
Whatever minor league city you happen to be at.
You play in Boise?
I don't know. Well, Chloe, it could have been. Yeah, maybe Pocatello.
Steve, I don't think Pocatello has a minor league franchise. 2-2 on Cabrera. Chopped foul.
His job of staying alive by Melky. That was a good wipeout pitch by James Shields, who's right at the 90 pitch mark.
Two and two. Wrap to first. Jose Abreu, the flip to Shields. And that'll do it. First 1-2-3 inning for James Shields. Halfway there, 3-1, the Sox trailing.
White Sox checking, an official White Sox MasterCard debit card, only available at your local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/Sox to learn more. Wintrust Community Bank, member FDIC.
That is an interesting way to eat a hot dog, isn't it?
Well, she's getting most of the good stuff early before she has to delve down and make a commitment on the dog. And now a change. She's got a lot of popcorn on her face and some still edible.
Well, she was eating the hot dog like Tom Hanks in Big.
Yeah.
With the little corns, the baby corns. And then she ends up with popcorn all over her face. It's very nice. We had our research crew. The interns were working very hard, by the way, during the break on some other foodstuffs that we were talking about. The potato that you were mentioning. It was in a game in AA Williamsport.
Wasn't it a guy named Bresnahan or something?
Yeah, Dave Bresnahan.
That's what it was.
Yeah, he threw a potato before this pitch that is in discussion. He went to the bench and had previously peeled a potato for this very situation.
Did he throw out Spud's Webb?
Oh, McKenzie, I think. So he catches this pitch. He switched the ball in the previously peeled potato. I mean, what an elaborate scheme, first of all. And then eventually the umpire called the runner safe. The manager, Orlando Gomez, pulled him out of the game and fined him $50, and then the Indians released him. But the story our interns found was from 1997 and the New York Times, and the lead of the story is Dave Bresnahan opens the mailbox at his home in Tempe, Arizona, and occasionally finds a potato in it. People sent him potatoes for a long time after.
Well, very clever, but apparently not particularly well received.
Quote, I mean, when people hear that I was the potato guy, that's all they want to talk about. About 2 years ago, Idaho had Potato Week. As that ball is ripped to right field and down. Into the corner it goes. Tim Anderson turns on the Jets. Melky digs it out, and Anderson with a leadoff double here in the 5th.
So Tim stays right with this one. It's up and out over the plate. Takes it into right field and then finds out where he hit it and took off.
So Tim Anderson, who's been hitting the ball very hard the opposite way during this homestand, continues to pepper right field. Omar in the air to left. Gordon twice now has squeezed it out from Narvaez. We'll check in on the Sox minor leagues. Kannapolis, game number 1 of a doubleheader, losing 2-1 to the Greensboro Grasshoppers. Solorzano, 5 innings, 2 earned runs.
I think perhaps as Omar's career moves along, he's going to realize with a man at second, nobody out, you got to go up with an idea of trying to pull the ball, and to do that you don't necessarily have to swing at the first pitch, especially if it's on the outer third, because that's a pitch designed for you to hit it to the left side and not advance the runner.
To third base, Moustakas. We're on number 2. 2 pitches, 2 outs. Anderson still at second base. And now Garcia. There's a good story in the online sports page of The Athletic yesterday about Mika Rodolfo, who's had a great season with Single A Kannapolis. Evidently one of his very good friends is Eloy Jimenez, and the hope for those two, Adolfo and Jimenez, is that they get to play together up here in Chicago at some point.
So there's no doubt with the start that Jimenez has had since coming to the organization. He's just shown what he is going to become, which is going to be a very powerful hitter and a guy that hits for a high average.
Garcia in the air to left field, and this inning will be shorter than Nicky Delmonico's at bat in the 4th. 1-2-3 after the double for Kennedy. 3-1 your score. inning, Moustakas, Moss, and Escobar coming up for the Royals, who scored once in the first and twice in the second inning. And if that sounds familiar, Sox did something relatively similar yesterday with a run in the first and a run in the second. And by the way, yesterday we were talking about Joe Ranofsky from the White Sox front office and corporate sales, and his new son Will coming into the world, his wife Molly. Congratulations to them. But evidently, as we were talking about the family, a huge White Sox fan was watching. Elaine Ranofsky, Joe's grandmother, who grew up at 31st and Union, a huge White Sox fan, watches every game, and just wanted to say hi to Elaine and congratulations to her as well.
Nice.
Yeah. Joe's a good guy. He's worth back-to-back nights.
He's a very good guy. They're quite obviously ecstatic.
Two strikes on Moustakas, who's 2 for 2 in the game with a couple of hits to right field. That one is a towering fly ball foul, still 0-2.
Omar wanted a high fastball. James shook him to the curve. Unfortunately, Moustakas got out a little too quickly. Not a bad time to go back to that face-high fastball as you look at the shift. And Yolmer playing a straightaway shortstop.
You know, it's interesting talking to Yolmer, who just started to play third base in his second year, he said, in pro ball. We were talking about his arm the other day and how strong of an arm he has, and he said, you know, I get to show it off a little bit more at third base because at shortstop, because of the angle, he feels like the ball just dies going to first. At third, there's a little bit more run to it.
Well, there's another factor. Second baseman, almost without exception, will throw many more throws from low three-quarters or even the side. They just do that, especially on double plays. Occasionally they'll go up over the top. A third baseman will stay up over the top more times.
And splitting the difference, when he was growing up as a shortstop, he felt like because of the angle, it's a similar throw from third to short, but from third to first and short to first, but he just feels like the ball fades some from shortstop as compared to third. One man's opinion.
Well, you have a lot more angles to throw it from as a shortstop because you're going to cover more ground and you're going to have to make a lot of different plays.
Right side, but this time Moustakas is out. One away in the sixth. Hey, Sox fans, for the first time ever, the Chicago White Sox are offering a limited edition Cancer Ribbon White Sox cap. $10 from every cap sold will aid Chicago White Sox charities and Rush University Medical Center in supporting cancer research. Caps are available in park at the Chicago Sports Depot and online for a limited time. Visit chicagosportsdepot.com today. That's nice, isn't it? Couple taking in the game.
Beautiful night for it. And we'd like to send along birthday greetings to Jack Ruby. He was here with a party of 20. A lot of grandchildren to celebrate birthday number 82, I believe.
Now that's not fair.
83?
No, 74.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought he looked really good for 82. 74? Eh, not so much.
Very nice of you to get him a box of cookies for his birthday.
It was the least I could do, and I mean that specifically.
It was actually the least you could do.
Yeah. Because they gave me those cookies for my birthday, which I thought was very thoughtful of them. I thought the least I could do would be thoughtfully to return them on his birthday.
You re-gifted cookies.
Yeah, but they were really good cookies.
How do you know?
I ate a few.
Did you? Wow. You re-gifted Eaton cookies. 1 and 2 on Moss.
Well, they were small cookies.
That is grounds to never be invited into the home again. heard of regifting a crock pot or something, but cookies from a month ago? That's classy.
Well preserved, though.
Jack, or the cookies?
The cookies, certainly.
2-2 from Shields, who's retired 6 in a row.
Handled Moss very easily. Doesn't necessarily have to go in the strike zone. Here's a curveball. Let's see if Moss can check it out.
He can't. Strike 3.
Good curveball by James, and he's had the disappearing ball to Brandon Moss. Struck out 3 times, all swinging.
2 down, bases empty for Escobar. Sox, by the way, will have Moncada, Abreu, and Garcia coming up in the bottom of the 6th. So if you were planning to get a snack from your pantry or something, remember our breaks are about 1.5 minutes, so do that quickly.
Chris Beck loosening as James is going to deliver pitch number 104 to Escobar. Season high 7 strikeouts. He's dropped down a bit more tonight than he has in recent starts, and it's really served him well because almost without exception he's dropping down to the right-handers and threading the needle on the outside corner.
0-2. Breaking ball gets a swing and a miss, building on a season high. There's strikeout number 8 for Shields, and back-to-back 1, 2, 3 innings. Moncada first after this.
Field strikeouts, giving him 8, and here's the 8th. Slow breaking ball. Gets Escobar well out in front of it, and we'll take a look at a graphic which shows you before the DL. James was brilliant. He started off this year throwing the ball exceptionally well. This is probably his best start overall, best stuff anyway, since the DL. That was in 9 starts before tonight. The ERA was up at 7.63, but tonight he's thrown it well, giving up the 3 earned runs in 6 innings, only 1 walk with 8 strikeouts to go with it. And he painting the corners when he drops down on that fastball and the slider.
Is that the big difference for you tonight? Is the drop down?
Well, drop down and using it as effectively as he's used it. He had a real good start against the Yankees also, but he didn't have the kind of stuff he's got tonight.
What about the changeup tonight?
The changeup hasn't been great for him since he came off the DL. And I think tonight it has been as much of a non-factor.
Yeah, we haven't. I was going to say we haven't seen a whole lot of it as compared to previous starts. One down for Abreu, who hits 2 for 2 so far tonight. He's clubbed his 20th home run.
Seems appropriate to use the Miller moment, but we'll have to wait for this pitch.
Unless he has another Miller moment in that bat.
Very well be.
On this 1-0. Nope, ball and a strike.
Just like we promised you earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. And we'll look at home run number 20. He got an inside fastball, rode it out of the park, giving him 69 driven in. And that makes him the first player in White Sox history to hit at least 20 home runs in his first 4 seasons.
Down and in, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
That's one of the harder straight changes that we see. And Kennedy, who throws that fastball, at least tonight he's throwing it and topping out about 93. That straight change was 87. Not much of a disparity between the two, but that had some good late movement.
What's amazing is you go back to his first year, even with the Diamondbacks in 2010, his average changeup was 80. It has really increased. This year, his average changeup is up to 84.8. Why do you do that if you're a pitcher? The difference between fastball and changeup? What's the reason?
Normally, you'd like it anywhere from 9 to 12 miles an hour. He doesn't have that at this point. Maybe he feels just more comfortable, and he knows if he makes his pitch, regardless of the velocity, he's going to get some people out, especially if he keeps it down and in like the last change.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Pitch number 80 of the night. And Abreu down the right field side, just foul.
Didn't miss by much, but with Joe West on the line, it was slicing and landed on the foul side of the line. Now, Don Cooper talking with James. You would think that that would be it for him because the bullpen continues to work.
Two and two. Abreu absolutely massacres this ball. Jose goes deep for the second at bat in a row. Oh my goodness.
Jose is trying mightily to get to that 100 run batted in mark, and he just drove in his 70th. 21st home run, 9th multi-home run game. And this one, a no-doubter. The Ford home run replay, he gets not all of it, but he gets most of it and takes it way back. They say 410.
Strike one to Garcia, and another generous donation in loving memory of Ursula from the Alex Snellius Foundation. Right side trickling. Merrifield tracks it down and whistles it high. Nice backup by Butera, and now Avi's caught up in a rundown. Can he get to second base? The answer's no. One more fake throw and the tag down by Escobar. Great job by Drew Butera backing up the play, and Avi didn't see it.
No, Avi never saw that there was anybody backing up the throw. And so the base running adventures continue. But here was a way to get out of it that he didn't use and could have. The throw off the mark by Merrifield on a 360 spin. And what I'm talking about is if one of the guys in the rundown releases the baseball and you know you're going to get hung up, which he is here, you run right at that guy and hope to make some contact, even if you have to force it. He had an opportunity with Escobar to do it after he released the ball. He had an opportunity to do it with Hosmer after he released the ball, especially if you're caught dead to rights. That's always a good plan to try to get out of it, but eventually he just got run down.
It's a single. And then 4-2, 6-3, 6. And so Avi does get his second hit. He's 2 for 2 with a hit by pitch. But he's out in the sequence, and Delmonico has the bases clear. That's 3 outs on the base paths.
Yeah, some very, very sketchy base running tonight.
Outside on a change, 2-1 for Delmonico, who took Ian Kennedy into double-figure pitches in the 4th inning at bat and eventually struck out. Fouled away 2-2. We showed you Kannapolis in the minors tonight. Winston-Salem in progress, leading 9-4 against Lynchburg, and Eloy Jimenez has a couple of home runs to prop up former Florida Gator Dane Dunning. 9-4 your score. Jimenez just keeps bashing the ball with Winston-Salem. Nice job by Nicky to hold up.
Jimenez was the #1 prospect in the Cub organization, an organization that's very deep in talent.
He's got 8 home runs in 27 games with the dash.
Yeah, and the runs batted in have been unbelievable.
23 before tonight in 26 games.
So now in 27 games, he's got 26 runs batted in. For a young hitter, well, for any hitter, it's great. For a young hitter, it's wonderful.
When you make a trade like that, you say, okay, we're looking at the potential, but when he comes over to your team and he just hammers the ball all over the ballpark, you got to be happy. Delmonico drive, but not far enough. Kane is there for out number 3. Abreu goes deep again. Sox have 2 solo shots from Jose. It's 3-2 after 6.
Tonight, and 8 strikeouts to go with just 1 walk. He had very good stuff. The curveball was terrific. He spotted his fastball very well, and the slower curveball of the 2 was equally as good. And James had a good night as Chris Beck comes in trailing by a run on for the 42nd time. He's 2-1. His ERA at 4.80. And right-handers have hit him much better than left-handers, which is somewhat surprising. And 10 home runs, a high number in 45 innings.
Last 4 outings, 5 1/3 for Beck, just 1 strikeout. See if he can get some swings and misses from a Kansas City team that does not strike out very much. 8th fewest in Major League Baseball coming into this game, and the 8 against Shields, who leaves trailing 3-2.
Bottom part of the order due up.
Gordon first, then Butera. And a little bit high, ball one. Kansas City a game under 500. Trying to track down that second wild card spot, which was one game over 500 coming into play today. As Gordon goes high into the stratosphere for Garcia in left, out number one. And now time for our nightly quiz of Steve of his own career, Sticks and Stone. Who was the first Royal to strike out against you? Amos Otis, Cookie Rojas, or letter A, Lou Piniella?
That's a very difficult question.
You were there, I mean.
Yes, I guess I was. Not so as you'd notice, though. I normally would say Lou Piniella because every time I see his name, he'd be answered to it. I'll pick up Cookie Rojas, even though he's a little right-hander, didn't strike out much.
You remember a strikeout?
No.
Then why are you choosing him? You were there again.
I got a 33% chance.
James Shields, as he left this game, retired the final 8 he faced. As Beck gets a ground ball foul. And Butera knocks himself down.
As if catchers don't take beating enough catching when they come to bat. It's not the game plan to foul another one off their body.
Chris Beck, who had a great run between May 16th and June the 3rd of scoreless baseball. That was 9 straight outings without a run. Trying to get back to that spot. And now his 3rd year in the majors, the one start back in 2015. 25 appearances last year. That start at Baltimore 2 years ago. 6 innings, 4 earned runs, 4 walks, 3 strikeouts. Left side and over Sanchez. Base hit for Butera with 1 out in the 7th. Here's your Sticks and Stone answer. Let's see if it is indeed Cookie Rowe. No.
Amos Otis.
Yeah.
He sticks out in my mind because in spring training at Fort Myers, he tried to steal home in an exhibition game, spring training game.
Okay.
And
you didn't like that too much.
No, well, it was an exhibition game, so I knew that he was taking off but couldn't do anything about it, so I hit him.
With the ball?
Yes.
Coming home?
Yes. Didn't try to throw it to the catcher.
You just threw it at him?
Yes, and I got him.
He was safe.
Yes.
Sanchez at third. To second, one count. Turn, double play. 5-4-3, inning over. When you do it right, you throw it to the glove, not the runner. 3-2, the Sox trailing at stretch time.
Chicago White Sox. Stanley, performance in action.
Three-two your score. Sox trailing, but on the comeback trail with the last two in the game, as that's a called strike from Ian Kennedy on a high breaking ball.
I don't think Ned Yost is going to be terribly patient with Kennedy. The bullpen is up and going as he comes out to face the bottom part of the order here in the bottom of the seventh.
No walks, 7 strikeouts tonight for Kansas City pitching. In fact, for the series, the Royals have struck out 15 and still not thrown a walk. Well, that rang around. 1-2.
Scott Alexander, southpaw, loosening up in the pen.
Foreground Melky is the best kind of Melky.
There he is.
That's a shift in focus, ladies and gentlemen. And there it is again. Mike Gentile playing focus games with us on the camera. Love it. Wrapped to second. Merrifield with the flick and one away. RBI Baseball 2017 is out now for Xbox One, PS4, iOS, and Android. Enjoy fast-paced MLB action packed with all your favorite MLB teams, players, ballparks, and much more. You better come ready to play. Learn more at RBIGame.com. I don't know about you, but the original RBI Baseball is the game for me. You could only move one direction defensively. When you hit a direction, all 9 players move the same way.
That's called a shift.
The very first. It was like they were all tied together. You hit right, the whole team moved right.
Not a bad plan.
Made defense a little bit difficult when a ball hit the wall. Check swing, and he did not go, says Joe West. 2-0.
You'd love to have Tim on base with his speed representing the tying run. And he's halfway there.
Three balls, no strikes. Narvaez on deck, Engel to follow. And we'd see if Ned Yost decided on the lefty Alexander, with Narvaez coming up to try to force a pinch hitter, and we'll get our answers soon. Ball 4, 4 in a row. Anderson walked, and here comes a meeting at the mound as we take a look at what's going on in the minor leagues. AA Birmingham trailing 1-0. Michael Kopech has been outstanding tonight. 7 scoreless, 10 strikeouts. Chattanooga, though, has a late run as the Royals will make a pitching change. Sox have the tying run at first with 1 down. Alexander to face Narvaez, maybe. We'll find out when we come back.
left-handed Scott Alexander. On for the 34th time. The ERA very good at 2.47. Although left-handers have hit him better than the right-handers have, and that usually shows a pretty good straight change. And because of the left-handers with a better batting average, he will face Narvaez with Anderson on, 1 out, trailing by a run here in the bottom of the 7th. And Alexander, who after the first couple of years of his career has worked exclusively out of the bullpen, this being his 3rd shot up with a major league team.
Beautiful view from above of the Private Bank fan deck. Some of the fans taking in some food and a baseball game and hoping for a comeback victory tonight for the Sox. Lefty's career .310 against Alexander. Not only this year, just overall for his major league career. So far this year, the numbers are wild for Alexander. He's thrown 93% fastball. .4.5% slider, 2.5% change.
Looks like a line borrowed from Bartolo Colon. That's pretty much what his pitch distribution is.
I mean, it was a big number his first 2 years. It was 75% in his first season, 72% last year. And fouled away by Narvaez. When do you decide to let Tim run here, if at all?
I don't send him until I see the best move Alexander has, and to get that, the runner has to take what's called a one-way lead and try to force that throw.
Narvaez rips it to left field. Tim's going to be on his way to 3rd and maybe farther. Nice job by Kane to cut it off. Narvaez into second base. 2nd and 3rd, 1 down, 7th inning. Here come the Sox.
Good piece of hitting by Omar, and the lefty-lefty disadvantage holds true as Alexander, who had struggled with the lefties, continues to struggle with the lefties, putting not only the tying but the go-ahead run in scoring position with an out here in the 7th. Kane does not throw well, and Narvaez, noticing nobody was at second base, just continues and winds up easily at 2nd.
So it's up to Adam Engel with Leury Garcia on deck.
Can't play the infield in all the way around, but they're in at the corners.
And a chopper foul from Engel. Anderson with good speed at 3rd. So a ground ball up the middle, slowly hit, but get the run home.
And Tim can get a pretty nice secondary lead because Moustakas is off the bag. Well, probably a good 12, 13 feet. Tim can get at least that on a secondary lead. But he's got to keep a close eye on Moustakas.
Moustakas was coming forward with the pitch.
He's anticipating the bunt. Now he moves a step closer to Anderson at 3rd base.
One and 2.
Got to try to shorten your swing and just make some contact, because a little ground ball hit at the shortstop or second baseman is going to score the tying run. Contact imperative.
Anderson is that tying run. Engel takes in the dirt, and Butera saves a run with the block.
Did a nice job of shifting to his left to be able to knock the ball down, and it did not trickle away.
Butera, some signals to his defense. Anderson at 3rd, Narvaez at 2nd. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Engel grounds it foul over Garcia in the on-deck circle. Two and two. Another ground ball foul.
Nice job of staying alive. That fastball had really good sink on it. And Adam was able to foul it off and keep the at-bat. Just barely getting the top of the baseball. That almost looked like a Zach Britton fastball with about 3-4 inches of sink.
Two and two. On the ground. Foul ball.
Hunter Wendelstedt right on the line. Moustakas off the line. As we'll slow it down, and it stayed fair a long time, and at the very end went right in front of the bag on the foul side.
If that's over any part of the bag, it's fair, and it wasn't. It's also not reviewable. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Engel on the ground at third. Moustakas throws him out. Anderson couldn't go. Second and third, 2 down.
Adam Engel with a battling at bat. Unfortunately, it was Alexander who won the battle. Moustakas freezes him. And you're not going to advance on the corners of Kansas City. They both defend very well.
Now you have Garcia, who's got pretty even splits, lefty and righty, as a switch hitter. Would you ever think about going left versus left with the splits so significantly in the left-hand direction?
We'd like to see it on occasion. The difference is that for the hitter, he's so used to a breaking ball coming into him that if you get him in a situation where now the breaking ball is moving away, he's going to have a hard time with it.
Alexander earns strike 1 on a swing. Sox looking for a big hit here to take the lead.
Alexander does have a couple of wild pitches this year.
One and 2 on Garcia. Well, you can see why he throws fastballs so much. There's a lot of sink going on there.
Get some very good movement, very good late movement. And it's hard to square it up unless he gets the ball up.
1-2 in the dirt.
Nice stop again by Butera.
Drew Butera, a couple of blocks in this 7th inning to keep the tying run at third base as Mauer over from San Diego gets loose. Two and two with Moncada next.
They really wanted Mauer because that bullpen has not been as overwhelming as it's been in years past. Herrera with 24 saves, but an ERA up over 4. And Mauer, who had 20 saves in the National League, now here.
Garcia does it! Straight up the middle. Anderson scores. Here comes the second one. Throws late. Omar's in. Sox lead 4-3. 2 strikes, 2 outs. Leury gives the Sox the lead.
29 driven in, and more importantly, the base hit up the middle. And the aggressive base running scores the go-ahead run. Anderson scores easily. Omar comes right behind him. And although this ball came rolling in, it's very close at the plate. But the good slide behind Butera. And the Sox have the lead. First time tonight.
Don't have to get a lot of the plate, just a little bit of it. And Yolmer on fan duty once again.
Well, after a good job of hitting by Omar, he does a very good job of sliding to plate the go-ahead run.
Yolmer Sanchez, a fan favorite. Two down for Moncada. And strike one. Yoan 3 strikeouts tonight. Once he reached in the first inning on a ball that got away from Butera. He was then caught stealing later on.
He's undoubtedly delighted to see Kennedy out of there.
Ian Kennedy charged with 3 of those runs. Fourth one is Alexander's after giving up the double to Narvaez. In the dirt. You said it. If the sinker's at all elevated, you might get a good look at it. And it was a little bit further up than the previous ones, and Garcia got a piece.
You start thinking about the fact that you got the tying run 90 feet away, and you're concerned a bit about throwing that sinker in the dirt, although Butera has been very good at that tonight.
It's called a strike, tying up Moncada 2-2.
But a good piece of hitting with Leary down in the count. He knows any kind of contact with his speed. Maybe it works out well, and that time punching it up the middle worked out very well.
2-2. Strike 3. But the Sox take the lead for the first time tonight. That guy is the man so far. 4-3 Sox after 7.
No fee loan now at eclicklending.com. eClick is located in Chicagoland and rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau. eClick Lending. Boom! Your mortgage just happened. Sounded like the Leary base hit.
People are going to have an odd concept of mortgages if they only watch our game for their mortgage information. They'll think that when a mortgage is executed, it's good.
A cannon goes
Right,
off
there
in the
it
back.
is.
There's another mortgage. Another Angel has gotten her mortgage.
Chris Beck will stay on for his second inning. We saw Aaron Bummer go 2 last night. And Beck will face 2, 3, and 4 now in the Royals order. Kane, Hosmer, and Melky Cabrera, with the Sox leading for the first time tonight. A little bit low, ball 1. Part of the reason Beck's still out there is a 7-pitch 7th inning.
I don't think that he will be facing Hosmer, however.
Sox only have the one left-hander in the bullpen, with Holmberg, David outrighted to Charlotte. Good fastball upstairs, 1-2.
There is Aaron Bummer, the winner of last night's ball game. First major league win. Save to Tyler Clippard.
Bummer 2 innings last night and just 1 hit. It was a 2-out double to Melky Cabrera in the 8th. Heard from Bummer in the pregame show with Chuck and Bill. They'll be in the booth postgame. That one is low, 3-2 on Kane. Ball 4. Lorenzo Cain takes a walk on 3-2. He's got a .540 on base percentage on 3-2 this year, and he gets on there with ball 4 coming back to reach, and that'll do it for Beck. 1 inning plus 1 batter for Chris Beck, and Aaron Bummer will face Eric Hosmer. Will step aside. Tying run at first. The plot thickens here at Guaranteed Rate Field. 4-3. Pizza all season long. The day after the Sox win, get 50% off your entire online order of regular menu priced items only at papajohns.com when you use promo code SOXWIN. Valid at participating Papa John's locations. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Our Hyundai call to the pen is Aaron Bummer. He's 1-2 ERA, .352 on for just the 8th time. He's looking in at Hosmer. He's had a good night tonight. Hit the tying run at first base. the very speedy Lorenzo Cain, and he can run. 21 steals. He's been caught just twice.
Cain draws a throw. Hosmer, the homer in the first inning against James Shields, then a single to right in the third, a ground out to short in the fifth. Ball one.
Hosmer's grounded into 17 double plays. That is tops on the ball club.
The most in baseball is 22 from Matt Kemp, but Hosmer isn't far from it. He's tied for 6th in Major League Baseball. Cain back. Aaron Bummer doing some Cain scrutiny over at first. On the ground, Moncada can't field it cleanly and then whips it to first. He was thinking 2. Instead, Cain gets second base. And the bad news, especially there, even if you weren't going to turn 2, Cain stays on the base path instead of Hosmer.
We've seen this a couple times, and it's a product of youth. Thinking about 2, getting in position where you take your eye off the baseball. He was turning to get a throw off and unfortunately could not get it off. There's a tying run now in scoring position.
We talked so many times about Melky Cabrera and his professional at bats, and you'd want him on a contender late in a game, and here he is for Kansas City with the tying run at second. He takes a strike.
He's only had 1 hit from the right side as a member of these Royals. But although he's got more power left-handed, he has been a better hitter from his natural side, the right side.
He and Bummer were only teammates for a couple of days. Aaron came up on July the 27th, and Melky traded just a few days later. Swing and a miss, 1-2.
Good solid slider down and out of the zone. Melky could not check it up.
Two lefties to follow, Moustakas and Moss. 1-2. Fouled away by Cabrera. He says, Omar, nothing personal.
It's just business.
Only business. Cain at second, the tying run, and now Omar wants to talk to Bummer.
Once you get exactly what it is you want, and Omar knows what's coming, and Bummer knows what's coming, you really don't need a signal. Just get ready to receive it and let Aaron throw it. Mauer and Soria loosening in the pen. Mauer for the second time, Soria for the first.
You mentioned it yesterday. There's no one spot where you can get Melky Cabrera out.
No, you'd have to just move the ball around on him and just make consistently good pitches, because he's going to hit his share of good pitches. That time able to stay alive on another slider. Those hats were the giveaway tonight. Very good looking. Baseball cap.
Each got a ball, too. Two. Melky checked his swing and didn't go around.
Melky was thinking about it, but was able to check it up at the very last instant. He goes out there and then, nope, he did check it up. Good call by Joe West.
Sox took the lead in the 7th. 3-2 to Melky, hit in the air, right field side and out of play.
Avi grimacing a little bit as he makes the effort to run it down. And Moustakas waiting to see the resolution of this at bat.
Well, we saw Petrichka up, but it is back-to-back left-handers coming. Moss has been a much better hitter average-wise this year against left-handers, though, at .319 compared to .185 versus right. Moustakas has the more traditional splits. Cabrera in the air, left center field. Angle back at the wall, and Melky Cabrera has given the Royals the lead at 5-4.
Melky with his 16th home run is now driven in 69. His first hit of the night, and it was a big one. Ford home run replay, and this is a breaking ball, and Melky just waited for it. So the ability to check up his swing on the last pitch kept the at-bat alive, and Melky puts the Royals on top.
Ball one to Moustakas, and they have just got to love Melky Cabrera in that dugout right now. He, since coming over from the Sox, has 8 extra base hits. Half of his total hits have gone for non-singles.
Melky came back, got the silent treatment, and then his teammates, his new teammates, appreciate the effort.
Center field. Engel on the move for the second out. It's a very confusing at bat for White Sox fans. I mean, he is one of the most likable guys to come through here the last few years. When he puts on the new jersey, you don't want him to do anything good, but there's a place in Sox fans' hearts for Melky Cabrera for a long time. We've seen it so many times.
Yeah, look, he's just a quality hitter, and he has been his whole career. It was a great addition to the Kansas City Ball Club.
Now you turn to the Sox home 8th, and it's Abreu, Garcia, and Delmonico coming up. So a nice part of the order to bounce back. Two and 1 to Moss. Couldn't pull the trigger. 2-2. So one of the runs goes to Beck, one to Bummer. Two and 2. On the ground, Sanchez for out number 3. He turned 33 yesterday. He turned the score to 5 today. Royals take the lead on Melky Cabrera's majestic 2-run shot. Bottom 8 next.
The American Sale Fan Cam, bring the fun home. And there is a former closer, Joakim Soria, on for the 52nd time. ERA pretty good at 3.33, 4-3 record. There you look at the rest of the numbers.
First pitch on the corner, called a strike to Abreu, who is 3 for 3 tonight, a single and 2 homers. Stuffed in on the inside corner, 0-2.
Soria has a very good curveball to go with normally excellent control.
Another good pitch. Still 0-2. Mentioned Michael Kopech tonight, going 7 innings of shutout ball. You look at Kopech's last 6 starts in Double-A. He's allowed 3 earned runs.
Now, it's been remarkable, and the best thing about it is we knew he had the overwhelming fastball. He's gotten the secondary pitches over the plate, and his control has seemingly gotten better as the years moved along.
Good breaking ball. Strike 3. Abreu is out.
Good slow curveball breaking straight down. Nice job by Butera blocking it and then throwing out Abreu. So he's retired for the first time tonight.
1 down for Avi Garcia. You mentioned the Kopech control, 7 walks, 54 strikeouts. His last 6 starts, including tonight's 2-walk, 10 strikeout performance.
Yeah, it's been a remarkable run for Michael Kopech. One of the guys acquired along with Moncada for Chris Sale.
Garcia, hard hit, fair ball. Moustakas tracks it down and throws a dagger to get the 2nd out.
Avi hustling down the line all the way, and that throw almost pulled Hosmer off the bag, but he was able to keep his foot on the bag. Good effort by Moustakas as he crosses over into foul territory, and the rocket of a throw is right there.
Two out for Nicky Delmonico, who's the first White Sox player to reach base in his first 11 career games with his single in the 2nd inning tonight. In there for a strike. Soria has danced near the corners so far in the 8th inning. The very edges of the strike zone. Sox with a 7th inning rally tonight. 2 out, 2 strike hit for Leury Garcia to drive in a pair. With the Royals with the Melky Cabrera homer to take the lead in the top of this inning. The Sox have 4 outs to play with.
We're seeing a little bit more of what Soria just did, which was he had a good rhythm going, and he got Delmonico in a 2-strike count. Then he quick pitched him. So when you're in the box, you got to be ready for anything, and we've seen a lot of relievers doing that these days. Perfectly permissible with nobody on.
To first, Hosmer. 1-2-3 inning for Soria. Kansas City will travel into the ninth with a 5-4 lead.
Join CSN for a special edition of White Sox Pregame Live presented by Miller Lite. It's on location from the Illinois Bar and Grill. Coverage starts at 8:30 right here on CSN. And we got a new pitcher coming in the ball game, and it is Jake Petrichka. So Shields, who did a nice job in 6 innings, and Beck, Bummer, and now Petrichka on for the 17th time. 1-0 with an ERA up there.
Escobar first, then Gordon and Butera. The game-winning hit right now is a 2-run homer for Melky Cabrera in the 8th for Kansas City. Royals could pick up a game on Minnesota as the Twins coughed up a late lead today against the Tigers, who scored 6 runs after the 6th inning. It was 11-6 after 6.
Seemingly well in the bag. Didn't turn out that way.
Escobar rips it to left field, and one hop off the wall. Escobar is safe at second as the throw arrives when he does. Leadoff double.
Another good throw by Lurie in left field. Made it a lot closer than you would have thought as this ball got hung up. It one hop, looked like it was going to hop out of the park, then hit the bottom of the fence and stayed in play. Good solid throw to second, and Escobar with good speed is in ahead of the throw, but just barely.
Royals seeking insurance. Gordon with a single to right in the 4th. Takes ball 1.
Shift is on in the infield. And Yomer has to be heads up. Kelvin Herrera, the closer, loosening up in the Kansas City pen.
In the dirt, 2-1 on Gordon.
Here's a look at the hard throwing, but fairly small right-hander.
He's been gettable this year. You mentioned there are some numbers that suggest with a 1-run lead, you might be in an okay spot.
ERA up over 4 for a closer. That's not all that impressive, although you pick up a lot of innings and earn runs when you come in non-safe situations. So Omar is going to have to shake that one off if he can. Ellen Porter with a nice job of making sure he's got some time to do it.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Kevin Smith has had a nice year behind the plate. So is Omar.
Kevin would just as soon stay out of this one. So he's rooting for Omar to stay healthy.
Swing and a miss for strike 3. Petrichka seals a strikeout down out of the zone, and Gordon is out number 1. So Butera, who's been on twice, Sox in the bottom of the 9th will have Sanchez, Anderson, and Narvaez. Hanson, Smith, and Saladino on the bench. There's strike 1. One. Hit in the air. Angle in center. Escobar thought about tagging and didn't think it for very long. 2 down.
The inability to move the base runner in the Gordon at bat made it that fly ball, which had enough depth, landed harmlessly. A very difficult year for the man you're looking at. Gordon's batting average has been consistently below 200.
Now against Petrichka, you have Whit Merrifield. Kane follows. Top of the order for Kansas City. Cleveland already has won today, so the Royals can only stay 5 back in the division. And with the Angels and Mariners playing, you really need to win if you're Kansas City, although you need to win as much as possible. Watching the scoreboard right now in August on that second wild card isn't going to do you much good.
Well, now you got to be very careful, because normally you wouldn't even think about pitching around Merrifield to get to Kane, but Kane hasn't been swinging it very well in 2 games. Merrifield has been swinging it a bit better.
But isn't there something to say you intentionally walk Merrifield or just pitched around him? Doesn't that get Kane's alertness up a little bit? Isn't he more prone to focus?
It may be on intentional walk, but I'm not suggesting that. I think you just pitch around him and see what happens. Maybe he gets himself out on a pitch out of the zone.
I'm just saying, if the guy on deck feels like you have,
normally,
you've bruised his honor.
But he's still not swinging it well. I still would rather take my chances. Merrifield just took one right down the middle, about just above belt high.
2-1. Swing and a miss. 2-2.
There's an example of a high, tight fastball. Good spot for it, because it's really not hittable up there. And Jake threw it right by him.
Where's your pitch here?
I'd like to see another high fastball out of the zone.
Outside.
Went to the fastball and got a whole lot on it. That was at 96, but he missed.
Escobar at second. 2 out, 3-2 on Merrifield. Payoff pitch. Fouled off.
That one got a piece of Narvaez also, so he's had a tough at bat. And Ellen Porter once again out to give him some time.
Omar's taking a whooping.
Yeah, it's not been the most enjoyable night of his year. However, that big base hit, the double coming in the 7th, made it pretty entertaining for Omar.
Sox took the lead in the home 7th. Royals countered with 2 in the top of the 8th. Three and 2.
Good change. He had him out front, but Merrifield was able to stay alive.
Whit Merrifield with his 24 doubles, the most on this Kansas City team. Escobar led it off with a double. 3-2. Merrifield on the ground. Sanchez at third. And that closes out the top of the 9th. Sox need 1 to tie, 2 to take the win. Yolmer's first up after this.
It's a second home run of a 2-homer night for Jose Abreu, this coming in the 6th. 105.8 exit velocity, launch angle 33.3, and estimated distance 408.
Taller than your average homer, but it got the job done.
It did that. And the closer in the ball game, Kelvin Herrera, on for the 48th time. He's blown 3 saves, 24 for 27 with an ERA over 4. And as usual, more strikeouts than innings pitched, but just barely. He can get up there in the high 90s. And he's going to look in at Yolmer to lead it off.
Eight home runs in 44 innings this year for Herrera, but just 1 in his last 19 2/3. Merrifield for the first out. 4 ground balls for Sanchez today, 3 to second base. Tim walked and scored in the 7th on that Garcia hit that looked like it might be a game winner. Sox have won 4 in a row. The Royals have lost 5 straight. That was a torpedo. 1 ball, 1 strike.
He's got his usual good fastball tonight. It's in the high 90s. He can on occasion reach triple digits.
Anderson high in the air, left field. Gordon has room.
Didn't miss it by much as Herrera tried to throw a high fastball by him. And Tim just got under it. This is a good swing at a high 90s fastball. And Tim just misses it.
Two down, Narvaez. 6 in a row retired by Royals bullpen arm since the Garcia 2-run single. Omar yanks it foul. Sox and Royals again tomorrow. Will be on the air at a 1:10 first pitch. Vargas versus Holland. Game on WGN tomorrow. Ball and a strike. Outside, 2-1. Angle scheduled next. Sox do have switch hitter Alan Hansen on the bench. Two balls and a strike. It's called a strike and a good call despite the glove. 2-2.
And Omar questioning Alan Porter, but that ball had the whole plate.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Herrera to Narvaez. And that's high, 3-2. Butera out to talk to his closer.
Interesting conversation. Throw a strike. Not much else you can tell him in this situation.
Angle awaiting a possible chance. Three and 2. Omar fouls it back.
Omar had a good healthy cut at that one, trying to tie it up.
Two career home runs for Omar Narvaez. Three balls, 2 strikes. Up and out, ball 4. Pinch runner likely for Narvaez.
It's going to be Tyler Saladino carrying with him the tying run. So good at bat by Omar, who does have a very good eye, refused to expand his strike zone and kept the game alive.
It's left to Adam Engel, who's grounded out to third twice and struck out.
Adam does have 3 home runs.
Ball jumped off his bat last night to the tune of 2 triples. Ball 1. Two balls, no strikes. Strike zone's on vacation for Herrera right now.
Well, Adams going to get his fastball. The question is the location. But he's going to get the fastball.
Saladino's off. Throw to second base is not in time. Saladino swipes second.
Not a bad idea for Tyler, thinking that you got a pitcher on the mound who's very concerned about keeping the ball in the zone. Maybe he doesn't watch you as closely as he did the first 2 pitches. And he got a great break. Just able to beat a pretty good throw and stop from coming off the bag. Heads up by Merrifield to keep the glove on him. Heads up by Tyler to stay on the bag.
2 balls and a strike. Tying run at second. Engel. Oh, what a play by Moustakas. And Mark Moustakas saves the day for Kansas City. My goodness.
Terrific play, because that one's headed into left field on the dive. It stuck in the glove, and he made the throw to cut down a very fast Adam Engel. Moustakas diving to his left. Not a whole lot of third basemen in any league going to make that play, and it turned out to be a game ender. So, too much bad base running tonight, which in essence cost the ball game. Very rarely can you have 3 taken off the bags and still win the game. And Kansas City came back in this one after the bad base running, and they won the ball game.
Game-winning hit, Melky Cabrera with his 2-run home run. 5-4 your final score. So for our producer John Walgren, director Jim Angio, associate producer Dave Ross, tech manager Mark Harper, and the executive producer Jim Corno Jr., and our entire crew. He's Steve Stone, I'm Jason Benetti. So long from Guaranteed Rate Field. Subaru postgame live from this very booth, coming up with Chuck and Bill. You've been watching Chicago White Sox baseball on CSN Chicago. Good night.